Welcome, YouTube subscribers. This is Tim David, and I gotta say, we are gonna learn about the best speaking advice I ever received, and also the worst speaking advice I ever received. Stick around, it's gonna be a great video. We're in a different location today, although with the magic of technology, I am beaming myself back into my office just for a modicum of consistency here. Listen, I'd love to have you subscribe on the YouTube channel, and that's the right button right there. Subscribe on YouTube. We do these live streams every single day where I share with you my march to $500,000 in 5 months, and super excited about it, and really enjoying. In fact, we are going to tip the money scale a little bit. We're gonna move the needle a little bit. So yesterday deposits were made, and we are up to $2,250. I am pushing my cheer button over here in my office that I'm not really in, but y'all are cheering for me. I can feel it. I can feel it. Hey, listen, also, if you are a YouTuber, if you are going to try to get paid speaking gigs in 2023, YouTube really is the place to be. And the great tool to maximize YouTube is TubeBuddy. So there's a link right there. In fact, in the description, you'll notice a lot of links, including my Patreon link. And that Patreon link will get you behind the scenes, not only show you what I'm doing to get to 500K in 5 months, but also show you how I'm doing. You get to look over my shoulder. You get all the tools, templates, resources, scripts, for the most part, everything that you'll need. And you also get to see the behind the scenes. All right, so today, what is happening today? First and foremost, I did my LinkedIn post already, so I kind of cheated. I kind of got a head start. I also am going to... what does this say? I did that already too. I'm going to do a lot of stuff on my to-who list, right? So I'm reaching out to people, and this is going to play into the best advice that I can give you when it comes to speaking or business, and that is relationships, right? Partnerships. The fastest way to grow is joint ventures, collaborations. Not only the fastest, but also the funnest. So that is among the best speaking advice I can give you. Also, really important to note, I don't give advice on how to be a better speaker. My jam, my sweet spot, my magic is getting paid to speak, helping people to get paid to speak. And that's the speaking advice that I'm going to be giving you. How to build a speaking business, how to get paid to speak on stages. So that is a pretty important difference. You know, yes, being a great speaker is one of your best marketing tools, and a great speech, great message, absolutely going to be a prerequisite before you do any marketing, right? You gotta have a great product if you're gonna sell anything. But that's not my channel. I don't tell you how to count your ums and your ahs. I don't tell you how to, form your hands in an inverted half steeple, and I don't teach that stuff unless it's really important to getting gigs. I'm gonna assume that you can speak, and you want to get paid. You want to get paid to do it. You have a message, even if you don't. See, this is the thing that drives me crazy. I've seen TED talks go crazy viral, and they're terrible speakers because they have a great idea, a great message, and it's packaged in a great way. So that's what I'm here to talk about. That's what this whole channel is about. And go ahead and be sure to subscribe on YouTube as well. All right, so let's see. Today I'm also really leaning hard into my to-who list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people I'll be reaching out to, and partnerships and connections and collaborations. Let's see. I'm doing some other stuff that is incidental, changing how things look on the website, moving some links around, that kind of stuff. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about the best advice for speaking. This is a perfect segue. Yesterday, on my to-who list was my bureau representative, and I called him up. We jumped on a Zoom, and again, if you are a Patreon subscriber, we're gonna talk a little bit about, I'm sure, a little bit about that conversation in the Patreon. So if you want to look over my shoulder and be a fly on the wall in that conversation, jump into the Patreon and become a subscriber there. But basically, he's the person who, A, has sent me a lot of business, for sure, over the past 9 years, or 8 years. This is our 9th year. And B, he's also the person who happened to give me the worst speaking advice I've ever received. And years and years ago, when I first signed on with him, I got some really bad speaking advice. And then yesterday, I think I got some more bad speaking advice. So I want to tell you what the bad speaking advice was, and then I want to flip it and show you what the best speaking advice that I can give you is. Bad speaking advice. 9 years ago, I sign on and I say, I want to be your most booked speaker. What do I have to do? And he said, Tim, you know, it just takes time. Just takes time. You just got to sit back and wait, man. That is terrible speaking advice. That is terrible business advice, right? Things don't just happen because time goes by. Yes, you know, you hear all these stories about overnight success. I'm not saying that's it, but you've got to put in the effort. You've got to do the steps, and you got to do them in order, but they don't have to take 10 years. They don't have to take 3 years, right? We've got a program, it's called 0 to 10K in 90 days, right? The link's in the description. Of course it is. And that is the steps in order with the tools and the resources, and there's no reason why it has to take a year or 2 or 3 to get booked as a paid professional speaker. So, yeah, pay your dues, but it doesn't have to take forever, right? And those who say it do, it does have to take forever, just did it the wrong way. They figured it out. They figured out the steps. They did the things, but they did them haphazard, and it just took them longer. Listen, path is there, right? Follow the path. Not that hard. So that's the worst speaking advice. The other worst speaking advice that he gave me yesterday, and I hate to throw him under the bus here, the advice was, you can't raise your fees until you have enough volume. Why? It is not volume that determines your fee. It's value that determines your fee. The person who is inquiring about your speaking services has no idea how many other leads you have in the pipeline. That is irrelevant. What matters is, can you deliver the value for that dollar amount or rupee amount or whatever country you live in? So, that's terrible advice. It's terrible advice. It's more sit and wait advice. So determine your value, know how to ask for your value, know how to position yourself in the marketplace. And when you do that, it isn't a matter of time, and it isn't a matter of how many people happen to reach out to you that day. It is fully and wholly and entirely about how much value you can deliver. So listen, here's the best advice that I ever got. And it has to do with, and I'll just say it, I'll just give it to you. Here it is. Do the stuff that makes the money. Do the stuff that moves the needle. Doesn't have to be money. Do the stuff that makes the difference. Turn the right dials. You see, I find myself, and I'm looking at my to-do list, and I mentioned things like, I need to change some links, and I need to change some graphics. It's very easy for me to fall down that rabbit hole and try to make that stuff perfect. Is the fact that my logo is on the left side of my screen or the right side of my screen gonna move the needle? No, it's the wrong dial to turn. So spend your time, your energy, and your effort turning the right dials. What's the right dial? I mentioned it. Anybody in the comments remember what the right dial is? If not, I'll tell you. Connections, right? People, relationships, collaborations, joint venture, even with total strangers, right? If you can add value to a relationship and approach a total stranger and say, hey, I've got some value to bring to this conversation, guess what? You are going to move the needle faster than if you were to try it alone. So partnerships, collaborations, joint ventures, affiliate relationships, whatever it takes to partner with someone, share your ideas and get yourself out there. Now that comes in many, many forms. It could be a bureau relationship. It could be another speaker. In fact, at the Get Speaking Gigs Facebook group, we place a big priority on networking with other speakers and connecting with other speakers, so that you have people to vent with and vent to, and you have people to bounce ideas off of, and you have people to share business with. But there's all kinds of strategic partnerships and relationships. For me today, again, I've got 4 or 5, whatever it was, relationships to pour into, and I'm going to make sure I do that. And some other tasks I think will be small dial tasks. Here's another big dial task that I got on the docket today. Building systems so that I can build a team. Hey, Keith, Thanks so much. He says, great advice. It's easy to fall into the trap of keeping busy for the sake of staying busy as opposed to focusing on what matters. So that's why I say all the time, is being the best speaker the right dial to turn? Yes, you want to be a good speaker. Yes, you might even want to be a great speaker. But you could work on your speech so much and work on your speaking style so much, and you could maybe even become the best. But even the best might be the best kept secret if that person isn't promoting, isn't marketing, isn't doing the big dial stuff, having conversations with people who have the ability to book you, right? Like this is the dial turning stuff for getting paid speaking gigs. So again, I'm going to be working on building systems, building a team to reach this big goal. I can't do it alone. And I would submit to you, your big goal, if you can do it alone, it ain't big enough, right? It ain't big enough. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Why not go far? Why not set big, hairy, audacious goals for 2023? And hey, why not join us in that process? If you want to see the behind the scenes of how I'm achieving my big, hairy, audacious goal, please do join us on Patreon. Link in the description. Hey, I'm going to get at it. I had a busy morning, and this is my afternoon looking ahead at what I've got going on. And boy, oh boy, that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of big dial stuff to turn. Needle moving action. That's the best advice I can give you. It doesn't have to take forever. So get out there, book some speaking gigs, reach your big, hairy, audacious goals, and we'll see you tomorrow. Speak soon.